Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the CTactical CT26 Backpack. The version that I have here is the limited edition Sun Bear collaboration that was done with Clint from the Perfect Bag YouTube channel. And I was very intrigued when I first heard about this bag, as the feature set was very impressive. And I was actually lucky to pick this up on eBay. I believe there were less than 100 of these made. I missed the initial drop, and so I found one of these. I've actually had it for a little bit, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna do a video on it since it's not readily available, but I recently saw the video that George Define did on the CT26. It seems like there's going to be an upcoming run of those bags in a little bit of a different configuration, different aesthetic, but it seems like it has a lot of the features that were present on this edition. And so I was excited to, have an opportunity now to share my experience with kind of this form factor, the silhouette, and just with my first experience with a CTactical bag. And in this video, I'm gonna be talking about what it's been like to test it over the past couple of months. I'll show you how I've loaded it out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how it compares to some of the other similar bags that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing, as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the overall aesthetic, to me the bag strikes a pretty nice balance of offering a modern kind of techie vibe that is still pretty functional. You have compression straps along the exterior, attachment points, plenty of pocketing, so it's not the most minimal bag per se, but it still feels like something that's gonna work well for all types of travel and exploring and just, blend into a lot of different environments. And then as far as the materials, the bag feels very solidly built. The version that I have here is using Ultra for the exterior, so it's gonna offer plenty of durability and weather resistance. So far, I've had great experiences with this fabric, and it's also a little bit more rigid, which helps the bag maintain its shape. And besides that, the other components throughout the bag feel super rugged. You have great compression straps, solid buckles, and then some aqua-guarded YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the outside of the bag, as I was saying, you have a set of compression straps on each side, and I really like the buckles that have been used here. They have these magnetic buckles that you can just kind of push up to release them, and because they fully release, it's easy to use these to attach any of the types of items that you might use compression straps for, like a jacket or a tripod. And so great to see that there. These do cover the main area of the bag, so in order to open this fully clamshell, you'll have to release them. And one thing that I'm not crazy about is the fact that this bottom one covers the external water bottle pockets. And so you do have a nice pocket on each side with a nice amount of capacity. You can see there's tons of elasticity here, so I could easily store my 26-ounce Yeti Rambler. Probably something even bigger would be able to fit, but the size of the bottle will be impacted by how loose this compression strap is, so that's something that you'll want to keep in mind. But really exciting to see that you have one on each side. You can store an umbrella or an extra water bottle if you want to. On the bottom of the bag, you have a couple of additional attachment points, and then you have a nice carrying handle at the top. And so this feels well reinforced. It's not the most padded, but it comes up enough to make it easy to grab this when you need to. And on the front, you have a little Velcro patch area that you can use to customize the bag. Here I have my John Wick patch that fits nicely. You also have a larger hook and loop panel along the front. And with this edition, CTactical included this panel that you could use to just kind of give the bag a cleaner, more minimal look, but you can take this off and then you have lots of space to customize if you prefer. That's pretty large. I'm very happy that they included this section. I hope that they include it with future iterations of the bag. And as far as how well the bag stands up on its own, does a great job. It maintains its structure even when it's a little bit emptier due to the fabric. It's also got a fairly wide bottom, so I've been able to place this down next to me consistently and access the pockets when I need to. Taking a look at the capacity, the bag comes in at about 32 liters, which I was a little bit surprised by, just given the naming. I thought that it would be like Evergoods with the CTB26, that the CT26 would come in at around 26 liters, but it definitely feels larger than that. This is more of a size that I would use for one bag travel. It feels a little big for my day-to-day, but I was able to easily store the items that I would normally take with me on a 1 to 2 week trip. And I suppose if you like to have a larger daily bag, you could potentially use this. But in addition to the extra space, It also feels a little bit bulky because the materials are a little more rigid. It just has a lot of volume, and so it just feels larger than what I typically like to have with me, but as a travel bag, it'll do a great job. You can definitely carry this onto a variety of domestic and international airlines and still use it for navigating around the city or jumping onto public transit. Continuing with the harness system, so far the bag has been really comfortable to wear. I like how the straps have been implemented here. They have a soft, comfortable padding and feel super broken in right out of the box. On the inside, you have a soft material. It's not as breathable as the mesh that's on the back per se, but so far it's felt quite nice. You also have a good width on the straps to help prevent them from digging into your shoulders when it's a little bit more packed out. And then you have some webbing on the straps along with some attachment points. You can maybe hang your sunglasses, an adjustable and removable sternum strap with a safety whistle. And then you also have attachment points where you could potentially add a waist strap if you wanted to. I definitely wouldn't for a bag of this size. And the back panel has also felt super comfortable. I really like this type of padding. It's well distributed. You have plenty of breathability. There's also some elevation here to create this air channel to provide you with plenty of ventilation while you're walking around. So even as I've been wearing this for a longer time, it's felt really nice. And then you also have a luggage pass-through here that's going to allow you to rest this on a suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. One thing to note is that there's no side handles. And so with this orientation, it can be just a little bit finicky to get it on and off your suitcase. Would have been nice to see at least one handle on the side to make that easier. Jumping into the organizational options, there is a nice variety of pockets all throughout. Starting off at the top, you have a really nice quick access pocket near the handle. So this is a great spot for those items that you're grabbing most regularly. I have my sunglasses in here at the moment, so there is enough volume so that you could store sunglasses with a case, or I might also store my AirPods with a charging cable in here. So very similar to the top quick access pockets that GoRuck has been adding on their newer bags. And then on the front, you have two zippered quick access pockets. I'm always a fan of this type of layout. I love having all these options on the outside to reach my stuff. And so at the bottom, you have one that's gonna offer a decent amount of space. This reminds me a little bit of some of the pockets on Air's bags. They have that slanted pocket, and so this is able to hold something like my tablet if I wanna toss it in there, or some charging cables, a notebook. You can start to see that blue liner on the inside. And then on this one, you again have enough volume so that you could store a variety of items, and there's also some internal organization here. You have a couple of slots for pens, styluses, and then a larger slip pocket where I currently have charging cable for my phone and my tablet, and so you can use those, or you can just use this open space here. And then you have a nice admin panel behind those. So this is kind of the secondary main compartment, reminding me a little bit of the Air Travel Pack 3, as far as having kind of that larger admin area that also goes all the way to the bottom of the bag. So this provides you with that extra bit of flexibility if you're traveling to have that secondary compartment. Always a big fan of that. And then you have a lot of organization in this area. At the bottom, you have a slip pocket that'll be able to hold notebook, tablet. So this is just one pocket. There's no divider here. And with this space, I could easily place an extra pouch if I wanted to, an extra pair of shoes. Here is an Evergood Civic Access pouch, 1 liter, and you can see that in both orientations, and with the volume that's provided there, it fits comfortably. Moving up along the back, you have a couple of additional slip pockets here along with some elastic bands, and so these are a little larger. You could use these to hold cables or other bulkier accessories that wouldn't fit into the thin bands that are sometimes on these bags for flashlights and things like that. And then behind those, you have dual slip pockets. And so here I have my mouse in one of them. You can go on the front, on the back. I imagine it'll be a little tricky to use both of these together, so you really just have options of where you want to store your stuff. Next to those, more slip pockets. You have some smaller slots here for a pen, a stylus. I have a flashlight here in one of these. And so nice amount of variety there. And all the way on the other side, I have my nail clipper set, which could also be, representative of a portable battery, a phone. And then on the back, you have another zippered pocket. This one goes about this height of my hand. And so this is the type of thing I would use to store smaller, flatter things. I have a wallet there, but could also work for charging cables, adapters. And then you have one more slip pocket on the back behind that that goes about the same height. So, a good spot where I would typically put maybe my Kindle or, just another notebook or something like that. And on the lid, you have an additional zippered mesh compartment. You can see on the inside, and this is gonna be able to handle simple things like a deck of playing cards, an extra cable, other tech accessories. And on the side, you have a dedicated laptop compartment. And so nice tall zipper here, well protected. Would have been nice to maybe have the zipper garage. You still have the small gap on some of these, so just an area for improvement. And then with the amount of space that's offered here, this could definitely hold a 15 or 16-inch laptop comfortably. This layout reminds me of the Evergood's laptop compartments, the CTB26 and the CPL24. One thing that I really like about this one is that they moved the laptop sleeve to the back panel as opposed to attaching it to the front. So that was cool to see. You still have the Velcro strap here to keep your device in place. The sleeve is a little bit pulled up off the bottom of the ground. It's gonna offer, a little bit of padding here, and then very easy to get your device in and out when you need to. And you also have leftover space in this section to add a tablet or, some documents or things like that. Taking a look at the main compartment, this does have a full clamshell style opening. One thing I want to call out is that there's not really a way to lock the zippers. I suppose you could use a lock with these zipper pulls, but they're not the most secure given that they're paracord, so you can kind of cut through them. So just something to mention, particularly given kind of the travel sized nature of the bag. And then you can use this as a top loader if you don't want to release the compression straps, but in order to open it all the way, you will have to let those go, open them up. But because of the magnets, it is pretty smooth as far as how that works. And then you can open this up, and you can see the 32-liter main area, just a really simple open space, which I'm always a fan of, particularly for travel bags. And so currently have my regular setup here as far as an extra pair of shoes in a packing cube. Then I have the smaller Peak Design compressible packing cube and the medium compressible packing cube. And all of those things fit in there comfortably. There was still some extra capacity. It didn't feel like the external pockets were super tight. And so again, really great travel bag size. And then on the back, you can see the nice blue colorway, and you have some hook and loop panels here so you can customize this with additional patches or any tearaway pouches that you want to add. You have some extra slip pockets here so you can store additional taller items. And so great to have those. You can see here the top quick access pocket. If you fill it out, it will take up some space here in the main area. And then on the lid, you have some additional organizational options, some zippered pockets here that are dual access as far as the orientation, so that's cool. If you open this up and you just want to get to this compartment, you can do so from either side. And then you have this gusseted pocket here, so you have plenty of volume if you want to use it for something a little bit bulkier like a toiletry bag or even as a secondary packing cube. And on top of that, you have an additional zippered pocket as well as the CTactical label. And this one, it's a pretty simple compartment, great spot for any of those smaller items that you don't want getting lost. So I can put my nail clipper set in there, my deck of playing cards just to kind of showcase the space, extra cable. And so really like the amount of space and the layout offered in this main area and just how everything was thought through in the rest of the bag. Lots of great features here that I think people are really going to like. This checked off a lot of the boxes for what I'm normally looking for as far as the dual water bottle pockets. It stands on its own, good laptop protection. I really wish that there was maybe a slightly smaller version in this same sort of layout. And I'm sad that it's a limited run, but if you're able to pick one of these up or something similar and you want something that's gonna offer a solid build quality and a nice feature set, then the CT26 seems like it's gonna be an interesting option to keep an eye out for. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience testing out the CT26 from CTactical. As I mentioned in the intro, I purchased this from eBay, so I'm not really sure what the process is like of buying something directly from CTactical. I don't even know what the original price for this bag was when it was released. And so if you want this specific edition, you'll likely have to keep a close eye on eBay or any Facebook groups where they're reselling bags, as it was a very limited run that was done. But as I mentioned about George Define's video, there seems to be an upcoming small batch order that you can sign up for. I'm not really familiar with that process. I've never done that type of purchase from a company before. So from what I saw in that video, there's maybe a Facebook group where you can sign up if you're interested in picking up one of the bags that they're going to be building. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in something like this, even if it's not this exact version. And so as far as other bags that this reminded me of, the first one is of course going to be the Evergood CTB26, which is one of my all-time favorite bags. I talk about it all the time on the channel. And it's one of the bags that has a feature set that is as, kind of well-rounded as this one here. So it's got the dual external water bottle pockets, quick access pockets that are super well thought out and spacious, comfortable harness system, luggage pass-through, clamshell style opening. So it checks off a lot of the same boxes, and I really love that at 26 liters, it's a more EDC friendly size than this bag here. Just the silhouette is gonna be a little bit more manageable. It's not quite as boxy. And so if you're looking for something with this level of organization and versatility, then that's gonna be one of the best options that you can take a look at. Another bag this made me think of is the GoRuck GR2, which is available in a couple of different sizes and materials. I've talked a lot about the GR2 over the years. I'm a huge fan of the 26 liter size as it works well for everyday carry. It's a great personal item bag, great for minimal travel. It's one of the most rock solid bags that you can get. I've been a big fan of the wax canvas editions, but I've also really enjoyed the Cordura versions. They've had it in X-Pack, Dyneema, and so lots of options that you can kind of check out as far as the GR2. The layout is going to be the same as far as offering the dual clamshell layout. That's going to give tons of flexibility. You have some good built-in organization, a well-padded and suspended laptop compartment, and then an excellent harness system, particularly if you're going to be carrying around heavier weight. And so, if you're looking for something that is going to be reliable and that's going to be with you for a long time to come and that's available at the moment, then the GR2 is going to be one of the best options to take a look at. And then the last option that I'll mention here is the Air Travel Pack 3 Small, which continues to be one of my favorite, more techie styled, minimal travel and everyday carry bags. Comes in at 28 liters for the small edition. There's also the larger 35 liter size, and it's now available in X-Pack ballistic nylon, and there was an ultra version released, so something similar to the fabric offered here. And you of course get the aqua-guarded YKK zipper, super comfortable harness system, clamshell style opening, well padded and suspended laptop compartment, luggage pass-through. It has compression straps on the Travel Pack 3, and then a really great organizational layout. So, again, a lot of the same boxes as this one here, but it's gonna offer a more modern, sleeker silhouette. It's more rounded, and it's a bag that I've used for so many different situations and it has never let me down. And so if you're looking for a tech-focused bag that can work for travel, that you can take into the office or use for exploring a city, then the Air Travel Pack 3 Small is gonna be a fantastic option to keep in mind. With that being said, the CT26 holds up very well against all those options. It's really been quite impressive to use. Great job as far as the collaboration with Clint and the Perfect Bag. And I'm a little sad that it's not gonna be available for many people to try out in this particular iteration. It's just a great combo as far as the fabrics, the style, the layout, and I'm excited that there is going to be some iteration of the CT26 coming out that people will be able to try out. Hopefully, if that's a popular enough bag, then the company will continue to make more versions of it. So, really just very functional bag. If you happen to be able to get this edition on the secondhand market, I recommend you grab it or keep an eye out for any updates from the company because the quality's been solid, very comfortable, and absolutely love the organizational layout. I would also love to see this in a slightly smaller size. Even though the name says CT26, as I talked about in the video, it's a pretty large bag. This is more of a travel size bag for me. So smaller edition with this layout would be incredible to see. And I'm excited to hear what y'all think about this bag, about the collaboration, about the upcoming run that they're gonna be doing. And if there's any similar bags that you think that I should check out. As always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And we'll see you in the next one.